Starting off with some breaking news coming in. One student is dead and another critically injured following an apparent accidental shooting at a high school in Alabama, United States. Now, this is according to a report. The incident happened at Huffman High School in Birmingham. According to Birmingham police chief, at least 2 gunshots were fired, which killed a teenage female student. And joining me on the phone line is Ray Locker. He's the national security editor for USA Today. Mr. Locker, good morning. Tell us about what exactly happened. What details do you have about this new shooting? Do you have any details on who shot the students? Was it a student themselves, or was it someone from outside who stormed into the school and shot the students?
I think what I can tell right now is that one of the students may have had a gun, that the shooting was accidental, killed a young girl who was either 17 or 18 years old, a senior about ready to graduate. There's not a whole lot of details yet. As a matter of fact, I mean, you guys are found out as much about it as we have so far. It's still pretty sketchy.
Right, Mr. Locker. Also, let's talk about gun control for a little while. It has been in the news, especially after the shooting in Florida. Gun control, in fact, the House of Representatives has passed a bill raising the age to buy a gun from 18 to 21 and imposing a 3-day waiting period on all gun sales. Do you see the gun control measures being tightened in the near future in the United States?
I think the shooting on February 14th at Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida, has really motivated a lot of people to seek tighter gun restrictions. 17 people were killed in that shooting, and it was a terrible tragedy. And the students there and many of the people in the surrounding town have really rallied around seeking tighter gun restrictions in ways that we really haven't seen in previous mass shootings. So unlike earlier years, I think there's more momentum behind this. We're seeing some action in the Florida legislature, which is controlled by Republicans, traditionally not receptive to a lot of gun restrictions. We're seeing a lot of pressure politically, because this is an election year, pushing for more changes. So I think, unlike earlier years, there is more momentum for something that could change. Now, in this country, we're never going to get rid of guns. The culture here is too strong in favor of gun ownership, even though the majority of Americans do not own guns. Traditionally, gun ownership is held to be, an inviolable constitutional right, and I don't think we're ever going to get rid of them. And I don't know if any of these laws that people are talking about would have prevented the school shooting in Alabama.
Right, Mr. Locker. Also, like you said, that it's a constitutional right. Being able to own a gun is a constitutional right in the American Constitution. Could you just tell us a little bit more about why exactly was it added in the Constitution? What was the reason behind adding this as a right in the Constitution?
Well, I mean, traditionally at the time of the passage of the Bill of Rights in the late 1700s, the United States did not have a standing army. It relied on what was called a militia, basically a group of citizens coming together for self-defense. And the belief was if you're going to have a militia for self-defense, then the people need to have arms. And so that is what, the Second Amendment says, and I'm not going to be able to repeat it verbatim, but it's something like, for the need to have on a militia, the right to bear arms shall not be infringed. And so, the two are tied, militia, bear arms. And that has been, taken by courts in the last 200 years to mean basically anybody can have a gun with some restrictions. So, that culture is strong in a lot of parts of the United States. People use guns to hunt. People use guns for self-protection. This is not a very violent country in a lot of ways, but people do have guns. There's a lot of guns around. And when you have guns, sometimes you have accidents like we did today in Birmingham.
Right, Mr. Locker. Thank you for joining us on the broadcast. That was Mr. Ray Locker. He is the national security editor in USA Today, and he was getting us the latest on the latest incident of shooting. This one is coming from Alabama in the United States, and one student has been killed in the shooting so far. Of course, we will be getting you more details as this story progresses and we get more details on the story.